Oh, I know you're beautiful by nature, because anything you think against that nature feels off. It's like if you listen to a melody, da-dun, 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 there's a flow there, okay? Or da-dun, 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 you feel that. So when you're thinking against your nature, it's unfinished business. In Earth School, it brings stress, and those emotions will support you as an alarm clock would, that, there's something to look at. So you identify what you're thinking and believing when you get those kind reminders we call stress. Move from your head what you're thinking and believing. Get still, identify it, and move what you're thinking and believing to paper. Write it down. And then question what you're thinking and believing. And it opens you up to a reality that is like, duh, it just makes sense. To the heart. It meets you by nature. Waking up to reality is like saying waking up to your own heart. This isn't how the world sees it, or he or she or they. It's you with you. You with you, your Earth School. And the rest of us are here to push your buttons. I'll turn that around. You are here to push my buttons, and I'm grateful. I understand who you are. You're my Earth teachers. Whatever I overlook, you bring it to me. I count on that. Andrea, honey, what's going on? There is not one of you that does not have the peace inside your heart. Doesn't have the peace, find the peace within you. Not one of you, other than what you're thinking and believing. Now, that's not your fault. You're not. We can't help what we think. Thoughts happen. Thoughts happen. It seems thoughts happen. When we believe them, that's attachment. That is how identity is falsely. That's how identity falsely happens. In other words, you feel false sometimes. It's because you are. So how do we speak out of what is really most dear to us? A word is truth, but what is that? What is it? One person says this is true. Another person says this is true. And then you have multitudes of people separated, like division. What is true? I've got to know, so I get still. I can't know what your truth is. It doesn't matter if you tell me what your truth is 1,000 times over. I don't know if you're telling me the truth or not. Even though it's your truth and you're sincere, I've got to know, what is this thing we call truth? So I have to identify what I'm thinking and believing, which in my world is what I am being thought. In other words, I can't stop my thoughts. They happen. I don't have control over that. But I can identify what the ego offers up, and I can move it from my head to paper. And then I can sit with truth. What is that that meets the question? Is it true? He doesn't care about me. Is it true? So now I'm going to anchor in my mind's eye in that place where he was being so cruel, so mean. He didn't understand. He was lying to me. I'm anchored there. He doesn't care about me. I was so confused then, so hurt, angry. Okay, so now I'm going to look back at it. If it keeps coming back, why wouldn't I? I want to understand now what I couldn't understand then. He doesn't care about me. Is it true? So now I can get still because he's not here. It's just me with me and him in my head and me in my head standing together in that situation. He doesn't care about me. Is it true? Now, to answer that question, I have to get really quiet because I have to hear what he was saying. I have to hear his words. And I began to understand how he had to get loud. He had to get loud because I wasn't listening. He was saying, "You don't understand me." He doesn't care about me. Is it true? I might sit in that a while. Hear his words, the ones I heard then, but I didn't hear. Let me hear them now. This is an intimate experience. And then to notice how I react, how I treat him, and what happens to my attitude and my body language and my emotions, how I treat him when I think the thought, "You don't care about me." And when I think the thought, he doesn't care about me. Oh my goodness. How do I react when I believe the thought? I have to defend my position that my violence is valid and that he's the cause. And I could say more, but I want to inquiry is not something I can give you. It is not something anyone can give you. To be open to the question, is it true? And how do I react when I believe the thought? Being open to those questions is an act of courage. No one can give you that. Being open to these questions is to experience grace. A kind of grace. I'll just use that word. It's strange to me, but there it is. Grace that allows me to witness the answers that arise when I ask the question, is it true? And invite grace to show me how I reacted in that situation when I believed the thought. That takes courage. I'm so clear about how he treated me. I could tell you that for several decades. But to open to something else, who am I without that identification? I am. Okay.
Said that I think I understood you to say that our love dynamics are borrowed. Is that correct?
I don't recall saying that, but it's what you heard. So
yeah.
yeah.
So that's
So
what I heard.
Our love dynamics are borrowed.
Are borrowed somewhere.
Yeah, so be with that. It sounds
Reasonable, maybe.
our love dynamics are borrowed. Oh, you may be pointing to who did you borrow that from? The way you talk to your son, the way Verbabet, the way she talked to her son, the attitude, the body language, when you believe that thought, when you reacted like that, to get still in it. And you see an image of you as you witness how you react when you believe the thought. And then you can see at any point through the work, when you look at how do I react when I believe the thought, it's like, oh my gosh, that was my mother's or my grandmother's or the next door neighbor's mother or father, whatever the case may be. Maybe it was an uncle, maybe it was someone on television. I mean, or a book. It's all borrowed. There are no new thoughts and no new reactions in the world. They're all recycled and meaning states of mind.
Okay. So
and they appear to be habitual in the illusion of time, habitual. And we can break that pattern and as we say, be here now and know the difference between past, future, and present.
Okay. So how this has played out in my life is that my father just knew how to tell us. The way that he loved was to tell us we were pretty, my sister and I. Mm-hmm. My mother had no idea whatsoever in a million years how to show love. Yeah. Not 1 ounce. So that leaves me with, kids and grandkids, and borrowed what from who? Nothing. Oh, and it just makes me wonder. And so this makes me understand through watching this gal, you talking to her, I now understand why the way I show love is it's different from other grandmothers that I know. It's like, I don't want my grandkids with me all the time. But when they are there, I want to direct these fabulous activities. I want to create these earth-moving activities and direct everybody, make sure they all have a wonderful time. And it's just all so weird. Yeah. And I kill myself trying to make it perfect. And I come off like this mean granny. No, you're not doing this right. And oh, it's not good. So my thought,
but notice how giving and loving and caring you are. It's just what you're thinking and believing along the way, that they should do it right, or they shouldn't spill the paint bucket, or whatever it is.
And then, so that took me to, what does love even look like? And there's probably a whole lot of people out there that are like me, that have never had a good example. I mean, maybe
that's what these living turnarounds are all about. Question the thought, turn it around, live the turnaround in your mind's eye. As this is, it's a meditation that happens every time we get, who would I?
And I guess that's what teaches us how to love. It doesn't have,
honey, it is. And it's where movement matches the head. Now, movement, in other words, action, and even words, we can be completely natural and authentic. And someone else, like a grandchild, can think Granny's so mean and so demanding. But we're right in ourselves, which is the opposite of what you're sharing with us. We know the difference. And with grandchildren, you can be your most loving self. And one of them will project the old granny that you were and see it in you. Just expect it. You are to us who we believe you to be. So you can only be right with yourself. And then other people will mirror, oh, you're a phony. And if that hurts, then it's another worksheet. Or if someone says, oh, you're so phony, you might stop and look, are they right? I don't see that. And they go, specifically, what did I say or do when, that would show me up as phony?
Yeah.
And then they can point something out that I'd have no way of seeing otherwise. This world is here to wake me up.
Unless you are so sharp that everybody is scared to death to tell you you're phony. Unless you're so, when I say sharp, I mean, don't you say that to me. I mean, people don't.
Well, you're a teacher in the world. You show us how to be to get what we want, and you show us how not to be to get what we want.
Yeah. And then just real quick, one last thing is, if you have this love, it doesn't matter how you can treat me any old way because I love you and I just want you to be happy. Then what's going to protect you? And so I guess you're going to, I mean, is it just another?
For me, love is an experience. I don't have to show it. It just is. It just is. I don't give anything I have to because I don't have to. It just is. People have a right to see me the way they see me. And I spent those first 3 years when the work found me as my friends' family were really, in some ways, worried about me, and some of them very much, because I was so radically not who they believed me to be. It was like my husband at the time, Paul, would say, where did my wife go? It's not fair. I didn't marry you. I want my wife back. Who are you? And it was painful. And I got to meet his wife, the wife he was married to. So I didn't have to be her again. There she was in him.
Well, it would be so nice if we could all just do that. If we could all,
honey, and I don't call it the work for nothing. It's like I had this moment of grace on the floor, and the way I hold it is I show up here, for example, and I live life as if I were honest. It would say, I would say something like, I don't exist, neither do you, the end. And life in this, I mean, if you're in a dream, for example, and you're in a nightmare, here's the work. Here's the work. And if you're in a dream and you're loving it, do you want to wake up? You don't need the work. Have a nice life. And then there are those moments the nightmare happens. This is a waking dream. This is a waking dream. Did you hear me say this is a waking dream?
I think I did.
Okay. So that's all of me you'll ever have. Or you, or anyone else. And those of you that what I've said confuses you, it's worthless information. You already know what I just say. That's what I don't have to say it. It's already in you. And the work can wake you up to that. And I don't even know if what I just said is valuable. It just was said,
think
we
it-
think, here in Earth School.
What I heard is it's our choice. We can either do the work and be happy or not do the work and be miserable.
Well, and there are other ways too. You know, we have things like church and and um, and meditation. We have so many beautiful ways. We have so many beautiful ways in this world. There's so many teachers in this world, and therapy, and so much in this world. There's something for everyone. And this is just something I discovered, and I don't call it the work for nothing. It's not something that is given. It's something that's given.
It's perfect. It changes
Yeah.
life. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are so funny. I bet if you ask your children who loves your grandma, they'd go, "What I do? You know, let's go play, grandma."